In my assessment for the concussion, I need to know if you have a perturbation for the gravity line. Principally, the gravity line, repeat, come from the sphenobasilar process between sphenobasilar, sphenoid, and basal occipital bone. Go directly in relationship with normally a cone of revolution, a little degree or 3-4 degrees each side. To test that, you have a good test, the test of Fukuda. Half a century ago, Fukuda organized that. He stay in this posture and he want to do to lift the knee 50 times. 2, 3, but he close the eyes. 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Move, open the eyes. You see it turn on the left at 80 degrees. That means 80 degrees on the left is minus 80 degrees. Now, the same thing, but it turns the head on the right. Maximum is possible to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Don't move. Open your eyes. Okay, it turns approximately 20 degrees on the right, but it moves a lot forward is another thing. The right plus 20 degrees. But I know that turn on the right when it turns the head on the right is not a good way. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now it turns 120 degrees on the right and it at the left. The head turns on the left. On the right, plus 120 degrees. Now I need to measure the spin. That means the total for the difference that you have between them is plus 100. You can set for him, he has a big unbalancement because it's superior of 30 degrees on the right. That means that happened because of concussion. You need to correct that because if you maintain the perturbation of the gravity line, perhaps the visceral work badly because they don't have that correctly. Perhaps the orthopedic system is bad. Perhaps with the ankle, with the knee, with the hip, with the shoulder, the spine, lumbar spine, T-spine, C-spine, I don't know. You need to correct all of that with some specific exercise. One can help you, for example, for the eyes. You need to look the eye with a little flashy color. Go, like that. Try to fix that. Fix. Don't look at me, look at the blue part, and that's it. Now, look at that, don't turn your head. Go, look at that blue, and relax. I find, like you, unfortunately for him, you see a very big, amazing divergence on the right eye to confirm the Fukuda test. Today that is a test for me, and he needs to do that himself once a day, every morning, for example. To try to do the rehabilitation of the muscle of the eye. The concussion perturbates the stability because he hurt a lot of different parts of the brain. And to be sure about that, with the Fukuda, I want to know what is the range of the perturbation of the stability, in what direction. And after that, that helped me to know the progression, if in 3 months he feels better or in 6 months totally perfect. And that confirmed to me different parts, you have different tests and different exercises. One in relationship with the eyes, other in relationship with the middle ear, some in relationship with the foot, some in relationship with the spine too. I choose now, for your video, the exercise for the eyes. In mobility, because the muscle of the eyes was innervated by the cranial nerve number 3, number 4, and number 6, work for the postural information. After the concussion, in this specific case, you have a problem with the sphenoid bone. The sphenoid bone is a relationship with all the dura mater, principally the tentorium of the cerebellum, with the clinoid, interclinoid ligament. Interclinoid because between the anterior and the posterior clinoid process. When I want to work for that, I need to normalize before the crossing process of the interclinoid ligament. Pinch the relationship that you have with the zygomatic arch and intrabuccal to have the normalization via the pterygoid process that you have in the mouth. And I pinch the zygomatic arch to work with the temporal, to have a fulcrum after at the same time with the GWS, greater wings of the sphenoid. And I go in, I go to the pterygoid process, and with the pterygoid process now I mobilize the external rotation of the temporal bone and at the same time the flexion of the sphenoid, and I limit the movement of the pterygoid to put in tension the clinoid process. Repeat that with the rhythm of the PRM 10, 15, 20 times. Lot of problems sometimes according with the specific space when you have the contact, the trauma, the concussion. I take the lesion of the fifth ventricle. Fourth ventricle of the brain with the lateral ventricle, frontal temporoparietal occipital one, and the third ventricle, and after you have the fourth ventricle. One time more you see the lateral ventricle, the third one and the fourth ventricle, and just after it, at this level, at the beginning of the C-spine and the beginning of the ependine colline, you have the ventricle of Arantius, the fifth ventricle of Arantius. After you continue through all the spine until the sixth ventricle of Krause at the level of T12L1. Now I show to you how to pump this ventricle. I have pumped before all the ventricle to move all the CSF. I show to you how to pump this one. Take a listening process with my finger to feel at the same time C1, C0, the occipital bone, and between both I have the fifth ventricle. I put the tension here and I work in this one to open cephalocaudally the fifth ventricle of Arantius. To do that until you feel the movement of all the CSF from the frontal, temporoparietal, occipital part of the lateral ventricle, the third one, the fourth one, the sixth, ependine canal until the sixth ventricle. Work with the rhythm of the PRM, primary respiratory movement. The temporal bone, directly in relationship with the TMG. We need to, after the adjustment, after to pump the ligament specifically on the TMG, you need to do some exercise to help the mobility. For that, one exercise, you have a lot in anterior drawing, posterior drawing, opening, closing, and in deduction. You need to move the chin laterally, like that. With my thumb, relax, open. I go in, she go. She want to relax, not me, relax, and I come back. She push, relax, not me, and I come back. Or, and I can offer, I resist a little. She want to go on the left, more. I fix, she relax, and I maintain that here. Repeat that approximately 15, 20 times. How to work with the apical ligament and the two alar ligaments. The two alar ligaments, there are not two, you have two on each side. You have the postero-superior and the antero-inferior. That means you have 1, 2, 3, 4 alar ligaments. And before to adjust C2, because those ligaments attached to the odontoid process, before to adjust C2, I need to release this ligament. If not, it's a big problem for C0 or C1, C2. Alar ligaments that you have here, 2 and 2, to release them, when I feel the odontoid process, I go little laterally on the left for those one, antero-medial posterolateral, antero-inferior postero-superior, and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. When I feel it's more flexible, I go on the right one, anterior and posterior, same thing. Time when I feel it has the same releasing process than the other one. Now I relax all, and I'm ready to adjust C2. I go, when I feel the odontoid process, I go little laterally, and I push and to release a little the tension of the alar ligament. Other side, same thing, and I relax. To adjust the rotation of C2, when you have a little translation, it's a very little one. You have one technique, you work with the thumb. You go, when you have the contact of the lateral part of the odontoid process, you put the tension, I turn the tension, and when I have the movement with my finger laterally to the lamina, same time I put the tension, arpa, first